Crafting in Minecraft feels permanent. Like, the rules were written years ago and nobody is allowed to touch them. You put items in the grid and the game tells you what you're allowed to get. But what if I told you we could change what the server has been told? What if milk and wheat suddenly turned into pudding? What if recipes didn't care about position at all? Let's look at what's actually happening behind the scenes. Because crafting isn't magic. It's not even part of the crafting table itself, it's just data. When a player places items into the grid, the game doesn't figure things out. It compares the layout, every slot, every item, and checks it against a recipe. A recipe saved in a bag on the server. If it finds a match, you get the result. If it doesn't, nothing shows up. Now, here's where things get interesting. That bag, we can edit it. We can remove from it, we can add to it, or we could completely rewrite it. And that's exactly what plugins do. Which brings us to the first type of recipe, the one that cares about exact position. Shaped recipes. This is the one you already know. The classic crafting system where position matters. Whenever a plugin starts, we want to add our recipe. In Visual Bukkit, go to Add Component and Plugin Enable. Every recipe needs an output. What do we actually get? In Visual Bukkit, you search for local variable, add a cool name, a new item stack, and set the material to diamond. This just says, when the recipe works, give the player a diamond. Now, we give the recipe a name. This is basically an ID. Think of it like saving a file. If you don't name it, you can't find it later. In Visual Bukkit, add a new local variable, give it a name, add a new object from the NamespacedKey containing the ID from our recipe. Now we actually create the shaped recipe. Drag, once again, another local variable. Here, create a new object from the shaped recipe having the ID and our result. By the way, if you've watched my previous video, you can also add your custom item here. At this point, we've made an empty recipe. No shape yet, no ingredients, just a container. Let's define the crafting grid. Each line is one row. Each character is one slot. Right now, those letters don't mean anything. They're just placeholders. So we need to map them. Add a method from the ShapedRecipe class using the setIngredient method. Here we link our recipe to the method, selecting a character like G and mapping it to a material like an iron ingot. Do the same for I. So now the system understands iron fills the outer ring, gold sits in the center. Alright, last step. You add a method from the bucket class, adding the recipe we created. This is the moment everything becomes real. You're telling the server, add this to your bag. From now on, this is a valid crafting recipe. Let's test it out. Yes! And now the important part. This system only works because the shape matters. Every single position is locked, which means one change breaks everything. But what if none of that mattered anymore? That's where shapeless recipes come into play. First, we're going to delete any code that has to do with the shaped recipe. This can go, this can go, this can go, this can go, and that's it. Alright, let's get started. We firstly need to recreate our recipe again. To do this, we search for the local variable and create our diamond recipe again. Here, use the new object to add a shapeless recipe to our game. As the previous recipe, you should use ID here and our result here. Next, we add the ingredients to our recipe. Adding something is an action, so that's a method. Here, we use the shapeless recipe class, just like our object. Add an ingredient. From this method, make sure to see count here. Then just copy and paste the recipe variable again. Add the amount of a certain material you want in your recipe. I'm going to say 8. And the material, which is a field of the material class, and iron ingot, for example. You could copy and paste this as much as you like to add more materials to your recipe. If we test things out, we'll see that our recipe works even if we change the position of it. So now you know how to create custom crafting recipes for your server. As usual, if you have any suggestions or questions, let me know in the comments down below. Goodbye.